good morning, everyone. My name is Mikel Estrada. I'm the coordinator of the eUltimate project funded by the EIT Urban Mobility. For me, it's a pleasure today to be here, introducing the webinar about the performance of electric buses in Barcelona, So the aim of this webinar is to introduce you to the decarbonization strategy undertaken by Barcelona municipality together with TMB, Transports Metropolitans de Barcelona, the local bus operator, in the deployment of electric buses in the city. Well, I would like to thank all the speakers, that will take part in this webinar. First of all, I will hand over to Marian Nick, who is going to introduce the strategy and to give a welcome speech on behalf of the EIT Urban Mobility. Later on, I'm going to summarize the aim of the project, and how this project, the eUltimate project, is going to be structured. And finally, Josep Mencion, the Director of the Central Services of TMB, of Transports Metropolitans de Barcelona, he's going to summarize this strategy, electric strategy, undertaken by the city of Barcelona, and he's going to explain the most important results and lessons learned from the first experience in the introduction of electric buses in one of the most demanded routes in Barcelona. So that's all from my side. I would like to thank Marian Nick, and I will hand over to him in order to provide this introductory and welcome speech. Thank you, Marian. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Michael, and I want to thank to everybody, to every single one of you to participate on this webinar. I'm really grateful that I can be here, even though that I can be here only for a very short time in the beginning. So let me tell you that the eUltimate project is really that kind of projects that EIT Urban Mobility was basically found for. It's precisely the projects where the university like UPC, the municipality of Barcelona and TMB and industry partners are working together across Europe to help implement green and sustainable solutions for our cities. This is really something that we are looking for. And last but not least, we see that the end result of the projects would be a product that could be scalable across the Europe and could help the other cities and other decision makers how to build the better and the greener ways how we can move toward our city. So once again, I want to thanks to Miguel. I want to thank to every one of you who are participating, and wish you a great rest of the meeting. I'm looking forward to see that online or after that we will join together with Miguel, and we'll take a look at the slides. So I'm really exciting. I have to leave now, but once again, this is really a great honor that I can in position of challenge area leader of mobility and energy can participate on these projects, and I'm looking forward for the results. So thank you very much, and have a great meeting and joyful weekend and wonderful seasons.
Thank you, Marian, for your words. We are going to keep in touch, and we are going to disseminate, the lessons learned and the results of this project to everyone. So let's move to another point in the agenda. So that is my turn. So I would like to introduce you to the objectives of this project, eUltimate project. So probably if you have joined other webinars, you will be familiar, to this presentation. But for those that this is the first time that are involved, are in touch with the eUltimate project, let me know, and let me share words. Well, as you probably know, buses are a key element in the deployment of urban mobility services in cities. Nevertheless, there is a pending issue to be addressed. The vast majority of bus systems over the world are still powered by four trains. Okay, just around 5-10% that of the total bus fleet in the world that is only or is totally electric electric power. Okay, so the question is that these buses or these bus systems are still a major source of local emissions, and it has gas effects that worsen the air quality and contribute to the global warming. So this is the issue that this eUltimate project is addressing. The question is, okay, we are going to identify, okay, from this wide spectrum of electric technologies on the market, we would like to identify which electric technology may match with the constraints and the characteristics of each city. So for us, our ambition is to provide this vendor agnostic decision support tool. And by vendor agnostic is, okay, we are going to compare the performance of electric buses, but not in terms of branding or the name of one vehicle manufacturer brand. No, we are going to compare performance, okay? For instance, charging schemes, overnight charging with regard to opportunity charging, batteries of capacity of 150, for instance, kilowatts per hour against huge capacities of 400 kilowatts per hour. So the idea is to compare or to provide this vendor agnostic decision support tool for assisting these cities and bus agencies in the deployment of the most suitable electric bus fleet technology. And from this point, of course, later on, we are going to go to the market in order to identify which vehicle manufacturer can provide this kind of vehicle. In order to do so, we are collecting data from 7 pilot tests scattered in 5 countries. And the idea is this, okay? So which equipment to invest on to fit on my use case. So this is the service that we would like to provide to fleet operators to identify the bus technology that matches and fulfills the requirements of the city. And for OEMs and tiers, we would like to contribute and to help them in the prioritization of the investment on the most powerful or most outstanding technologies that will be leading in the future. Okay. In order to do so, we have 20 partners, okay, scattered in 5 countries, and the selection of each partner was made based on the different characteristics and particularities of bus operation in the cities. So we try to combine different technologies, different weather conditions in order to have data from very different situations. And in order to do so, well, probably you are familiar with that. We have had several webinars and workshops devoted to each pilot test, Milan, Beijing, Zalaegerszeg, okay, and Badalona. And right now, today, it's a pleasure for me to focus on the Barcelona side, in which we have the opportunity charging. So probably this is the most different, the different charging schemes that we have seen up to now. And we are going to analyze, okay, the performance of 22 articulated battery electric buses that are already providing service in this round. Well, this is what the decision support toolkit looks like, and the idea is to gather data from the real operation. Okay, so we capture data from the telemetric system of the bus, and after this statistical analysis correlation, we calculate, okay, the power, okay, during the whole trajectory or round trip of the line, in order to estimate the energy consumption factor in steps of 1 second, okay, along the whole line. And after that, this decision support toolkit is also aimed at providing cost estimations or estimations regarding which is the best opportunity, which is the best charging scheme between opportunity or bus garage charging, overnight charging, day charging, and which are the chemistries or the battery packs, the capacity of the batteries that are more suitable for the deployment in each room. So finally, we are going to provide estimations to the bus operators in terms of how many buses they will need, how many chargers should be installed and deployed on street or even in the bus garage, the schedule. Okay, so when these vehicles have to be charged at the bus garage or on street charging, and finally, of course, okay, the budget needed in order to run the system. So that is what we would like to provide to the bus market, to the bus community, okay, this decision support toolkit in order to help cities and bus operators in the definition of the most suitable electric bus technology. That's all from my side. I'm going to, right now, introduce to give the floor to Josep Mencion. He's the director of Central Services. I would like to thank Josep because he really does a really excellent job, okay, preparing this presentation. Okay, we were in contact and he did a good presentation that I believe that will be a promising and inspiring speech. Thank you, Josep. I will hand over to you, so the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mikel. Good morning, everyone. First, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Well, I guess I share my screen. I'm going to present. That's right. I'm going to. I will give you an overview of the TMB use case within the eUltimate, and also I will be talking about a little bit our organization, TMB. Okay. I will start offering an approach of our organization, size, network scheme, decarbonization strategy, and electrification schemes. Then I will go right to the specifics of our fully electric bus route, 816. I will be talking about its technical data, the e-buses, and their performance. This presentation also includes a short video showing various frames of the e-buses on our 816 network, on our route 816, and throughout the itinerary, and stored at the depot while buses are being charged. Well, about TMB bus network. Well, TMB bus network is hierarchic with premium routes, conventional routes, and local routes. This scheme was completed in 2018 after several years of study and gradually implementation. The backbone of the TMB bus network is a set of 28 premium routes, as you can see on the right, 8 horizontal, 17 vertical, and 3 diagonal, which transport 60% of the whole demand. The conventional network is mainly radial, with urban and interurban routes, and more than 30% demand share. And finally, the local network includes feeder routes and our bus of neighborhood service to supply stepped and hilly boroughs. The area of operation of our bus company spans Barcelona and 10 municipalities surrounding the city, with around 2.6 million inhabitants. And we have a fleet of 1,134 buses. 34% are high capacity, articulated and freely articulated, and 55% standard buses. We have also double-decker buses for our tourist service called BDT, Barcelona Bus Turístic. And regarding the type of fuel, we have in our fleet a wide range of eco-buses, 68.2% in total, broken down into CNG, hybrid, and full electric. 31 articulated units from the time being. Nowadays, the maximum number of buses at rush hour is 901, and our profile is services throughout the day is quite flat. Additionally, we have a variable number of double-decker buses, up to 65, depending on the season, supplying the tourist service. And we beat our record in ridership in 2019 with more than 211 million trips. Additionally, we transported over 4.3 million passengers in our tourist service. And all of this with 4,059 people split in 4 depots. Horta with 390 buses, Ponent, the less with 156 buses, Triangle with 265 buses, and Zona Franca with 352, and currently under restructuring. Well, let's move to the TMB decarbonization strategy. I'm going to talk about the TMB Strategic Plan 2025, recently approved by the TMB Management Board. This plan gathers up the main guidelines for the next 4 years period. The plan assigns 4 guidelines specifically for the bus division: improve and increase the bus service, renew and enlarge TMB bus fleet with sustainability criteria, energy efficiency, and digital transformation, improve and adapt all infrastructure and systems for an optimum service provision, efficacy in maintenance, energy efficiency, and sustainability, and foster new mobility models, operation and maintenance that maximize service quality and intermobility. Electrification of bus fleet is within them and is the main drive shaft to renew and environmentally update the urban buses of Barcelona and its metropolitan area. Well, now we'll be talking about previous and current developments. We had an active participation in fact, we are participating in EU projects as ZEUS, famous ZEUS project, Zero Emission Bus Urban System, but also the Elliptic, electrification and public transport in cities, and the Assured, fast and smart charging solutions for full-size urban heavy-duty applications. We carry out in the past studies for horizontal and vertical routes to determine number of chargers at the terminals and resources on the routes to meet the committed level of service. We tested several prototypes of high capacity, but also a standard and a small eco buses. We are currently participating in the JV2 project, Joint Initiative for Hydrogen Vehicles across Europe, that seeks to deploy 152 new zero-emission fuel cell buses and associated refueling infrastructure across 14 European cities. We're also testing a prototype of electric articulated bus, 18 meters long, with overnight charging. We transformed Route 816 into a fully electric route in June 2021 with 22 articulated buses with en route opportunity charging station at the terminals and opportunity charging chargers at the depot. At weekend, as well, route number 7, which links Forum and Zona Universitaria, fully electric, and H16 and route 7, routes H16 and 7 share the en route opportunity charging station of Avinguda Maristain. Well, as main targets of the plan are the following. Well, purchase more than 500 eco-buses, CNG, hybrid, electric and hydrogen, in the period 2022-2025, including 212 e-buses. But by the end of 2024, only e-buses, hybrid and CNG buses in our fleet. Gradually, we'll install all the infrastructure, all the e-infrastructure at the depots, opportunity and overnight chargers, and in the street and route opportunity charging stations, plus smart charging tools to charge this large amount of e-buses optimally. In a scenario in 2025, in a scenario with plus or more than 200 e-buses and 46 hydrogen buses in operation, we foreseen the following annual emission reductions: 17,000 tons of CO2, 46 tons of NOx, and 0.4 tons of particulates. Well, about our electrification schemes. TMB is currently undertaking its electrification schemes, which consist of deployment of 3 en route opportunity charging routes with articulated buses. The first one, H16, that links Passeig Zona Franca in the southwest of the city to the Campus Besòs, to the Forum in the northeast of the city, is already in operation, with 2 chargers of 500 kilowatts at each terminus. And we use data from this route to supply the eUltimate project, the use case of Barcelona. At weekends, as I said, we also supply buses on Route 7. Well, the upcoming opportunity charging and route opportunity charging routes will be H12, which links Gornal to Besòs Verneda, as you can see on the left, on the bottom, on the left side of the slide, and V15 that links Barceloneta with Avinyola Tibidabo. It's a vertical route. Well, at each en route opportunity charging station, we install and will install two chargers of 500 kilowatts, and just 4 buses to be charged in 5 minutes during their recovery times. All these routes, B15, H12, and H16, are high demand and have high capacity buses, articulated buses. All these routes are diametrical and touch the city center. They transported in 2019 a little bit more than 19 million passengers. That is more than 68,000 passengers per weekday. So, in our opinion, it's a good deal. Well, we install opportunity chargers of 50 kilowatts at the depots for balancing the batteries by night. We will install more chargers and more powerful for overnight charging in the short term. We also started a project to operate hydrogen buses fueled in a third party, Iberdrola, in a third party hydrogen pump station next to Zona Franca depot. Ambitious plan for extending the infrastructure, the e-infrastructure, to Horta and Zona Franca depots will be carried out in the short term. And you can see on the slide some pictures about several e-infrastructure at the depot, overhead hoods, and a set of chargers, and more or less the same in the street. Opportunity charging stations at the terminals, and buses being charged on this post and with these hoods. Well, let's move now to our use case and talk about first about technical data of Route 816. This is our current fully electric route that links Passeig Zona Franca with Campus Besòs. It is one of the 28 premium horizontal, vertical, and diagonal routes of Barcelona's new bus network. Its round trip is almost 26 kilometers. The headway is 8 minutes from a wide span period from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And this route is supplied by 22 Arctic buses. And in 2019, before the pandemic, it transported a maximum ridership of around 20,000 passengers per week. Well, you can see on the slide the layout of Route 816 and the allocation on the premium route network scheme. Route 16 was launched in 2013 and was modified in 2014. That's why it is not totally straight on the right side. It turns at the corner of Ciutadella Park and runs along the waterfront. This is because of this area similar demand than from that one of between Paseo de Zona Franca and the city center. We can supply this way articulated buses everywhere around the route without any efficiency. Okay, the difference between the highest point to the lowest is only 24 meters in both directions, in 30 kilometers of trip. This is an average gradient very low of only 0.185%, very flat. The vertical scale is modified so that the topography can be appreciated. The highest section of the profile is between the Spain Square and the city center. And the lowest part is located, of course, near the waterfront. Well, about the buses, Route 16 is supplied by 22 buses from the manufacturers Irizar on the upper side, on the right, the upper side at the right, and Solaris on the lower side. Both kinds of buses have very equal characteristics. Maybe the Irizar is a little bit more long, and of course the capacity is a little bit more, but more or less they offer the same characteristics. All are high capacity vehicles, and the performance is quite good, as well as that of one of the charging station and chargers. Well, at this point, I'm going to show you a video, a homemade video, with some frames and pictures of these e-buses running through Route 816 and being charged at the opportunity charging stations during recovery times and at the depot. The depot is the depot that is the depot of Triangle, one of our big depots. And in that video, there's nothing done, buses running and being charged and being stored at the depot. But we like very much to show these images because, this year we have at last a very powerful and bus route, and with a very diametrical route with significant ridership and citizens, people can enjoy of this route and this mode of transport. And we are happy and with admiring and contemplating these sequences. And that's all. These are our buses, our e-buses at the Triangle Depot, with a set of chargers, the hoods, and being stored and charged by night with only balancing the batteries, and well, during the service, the bus service, buses are fueled at the terminals, an average of 5 minutes, just to make possible to provide the service again. Well, the route runs through the city center. It's a very crowded route in several time slots of the day. And well, as we can see in some minutes, that the performance of these buses are quite good. And in TMB, we are happy of and glad to with this with the performance of this route. These are some frames from significant points of the city, the Forum, but also Spain Square, Pelayo Street, Sepúlveda, Gran Via, Passeig de la Franca, here the Arc de Triomphe, the Plaza Cerdà, Cerdà Square, and well, and the video offers an approach of a trip, of the round trip of the route, and we identified as well our buses with this signposting depicting eco buses, electric zero emission bus. And well, this is well a very pleasant landscape for us, for the people who are involved in the operation of electric buses, replacing well, traditional diesel buses. And well, the idea is not only to as I said, deploy two and route opportunity charging routes, other opportunity charging routes, two other ones with similar characteristics, diametric routes, high capacity routes with high demand, and touching and running through the city center. We're trying to pollute the less as less as possible. Well, we are approaching to the end. Here we can see the new chargers at Vila Maristain and the new zone, the new area of the Grand Mar. Well, and that's the end of the video. Okay. Let's move now to talk about the performance of the routes, of the buses of this route. The three next slides refer to 4 operational KPIs: ridership, regularity, and commercial speed and reliability. The idea is following the evolution of these KPIs all over 2021, and especially since June, when Route X16 became fully elected. Regarding ridership, well, it's the nightmare of the year because of the pandemic, and it's always below the expectations. However, there was a certain recovery in October, as you can see on the slide, when ridership was around 85% of 2019. In November, figures are similar. And in that case, there's a positive trend difference from June onwards, as values are going upwards. In terms of regularity and commercial speed, you can see a slight drop in these two KPIs. But as it happens on the whole bus network, probably because of an increase of the traffic density, and also because of some public works affecting a few points of the itinerary of these routes. It is a general in on the whole bus network. In terms of reliability, things are very very good. Figures are extremely high compared with our standard of 3,500 kilometers without breakdowns. We can see a significant increase in August, but figures in September and October are also quite good. Well, now we are going to talk about eKPIs. And thanks to the UPC and IDIADA to provide us with these developments. This slide shows 4 figures depicting the instantaneous and average powertrain. By sections of a very huge sample. This data comes from the telemetry devices system installed on board our e-buses. And this is a very powerful KPI because as knowing where the powertrain activity is within the height range, we can improve these sections to lower these figures and make these e-buses more efficient. I'm going to show you with more detail. Here you can see the itinerary of H16, and on each section, in each sections, in these tips, the average motor power consumption, and we have to focus on the red because they are the sections with more consumption. And well, we can. The idea is to make some actions on that areas, just to be more efficient, to let the buses run more efficient. This is a very, as I said, a very powerful tool to monitor and to follow the evolution of the performance of the fine tuning of the operations of these buses. Well, let's talk about now the definition and some comments about this also eKPIs as energy, temperature, sock discharge, and distance. Well, the energy consumption in kilowatts hour per kilometer. The reason for the variability is the auxiliaries, the air conditioning, the lights, the driver heater, etc. An average value can be about 1.2 kilowatts hour per kilometer in the coldest month, and 2.5 up to 2.8 kilowatts hour per kilometer in the hottest month. The current consumption of electric vehicles is more or less as expected and allows us to give the service perfectly, saving a reservation if unforeseen events arise. The difference in consumption between summer and winter in the city of Barcelona is completely understandable due to the demanding air conditioner consumption. Regarding the ambient temperature, as you can see, the first readings are higher, coinciding with higher consumption in energy in the energy graph. The high values on the left are coinciding with these high values also on the temperature graph. Well, regarding the SOC, the state of discharge, And this is the percentage of state of charge we consume between loads, between chargings. As you can see, the normal value for H16 is about 15 to 20, of the start of change. Sometimes peaks of 35, 14 are seen. This happens when, due to the need of service, occupation of the chargers, or problems in the load, you cannot load in one of the terminals, and you must make the whole return trip without charging. The SOC battery charge status is expressed in percentage. We charge, obviously, in normal conditions at each terminal. Between the two terminals, we have about 13 kilometers. And usually in winter, when we have a lower consumption, vehicles have enough energy on board to be able to make 3 trips between terminals. If at the third they have not charge, they should go to the The SOC consumption per trip between terminals allow us to conclude that electric vehicles are well sized for this route. And in winter, it allows us to make 3 trips between terminals, and during the summer, only 2, and due to the more air conditioning consumption. And about the distance travel between the two charging events, as mentioned in the previous point, the normal value is 13 kilometers, which corresponds to the distance between the two terminals. But we have different distances on this sample. Well, my conclusions regarding the H16 performance are the following. Well, first, we can say that Route H16 performs quite well. Main operational KPIs from Jan onwards show similar values to the previous month. The e-buses perform quite well as good, and no significant interoperability problems with e-buses and chargers, with the en route opportunity charging stations and opportunity chargings at depots. The electric consumption values are within the range and as had been foreseen, and our opportunity charging stations at the terminals and chargers are well sized, with 2 chargers, each one and 500 kilowatts per charger. And thus, charging times values as has been scheduled, and no significant queues arise during air refueling. And all of these secure on-time departures at the terminals. Well, and that's all. That's all from my part. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Josep, for this inspiring presentation of the Barcelona TMB strategy in the decarbonization of electric buses. Okay, let me summarize a little bit. Okay, the fundamental point of this presentation. So, TMB has undertaken an ambitious strategy in order to decarbonize the public transportation services based on the deployment of electric buses. We have seen the experience of the route H16 that runs in parallel to the seafront of Barcelona, 26 kilometers of length, 22 buses, and vehicles whose battery capacity is around 150 kilowatts per hour. Despite of the pandemic, okay, the ridership in this line is quite important. So we are going to test vehicles in real operations with significant passengers amounts, okay, on board, so that the results will be interesting in just to compare, okay, the expected performance with real operational performance. And I found really interesting, okay, the analysis that you did, okay, in terms of the tracking of the powertrain. So you have followed, or you have calculated and identified the trajectories of the vehicles, and for short trams, okay, or segments, you can calculate the instant power provided to the vehicle, as well as you can calculate average energy consumption factors per kilometer. So you will be able to identify if for instance, the allocation of the stops, okay, along the route is efficient for the bus motion, or these allocations or these specific locations have to be removed or changed in order to make a green wave and to avoid particular stops of buses. You have also analyzed that the effect of a slope, okay, in the consumption, just with a positive slope or with a negative slope, in which, okay, the regeneration system could contribute to feed with energy the batteries. And finally, the effect of temperature. Okay, it's said that around 30% of the total energy consumption is due to air conditioning and heating, so that it has to be analyzed in order to deploy proper and suitable battery packs. And well, the performance, as you have summarized and you have explained, is really good. So more or less, okay, your expectations, your plans matches, okay, and your assumptions matches with the real operation, okay, performance and KPIs. That's good. And another term to be aware in the case of opportunity charging is the regularity. So you didn't, or your TMB has not found major problems in the regularity of the line and with the queues of vehicles waiting for being charged. Okay, in busy lines, this is a problem. Okay, and I'm more than happy that you have addressed and overcome this problem, that you provide a perfect regular system that can provide service without any inconvenience. So that's all from my side. I tried to summarize the major points covered by your presentation, and right now we are going to open debate with the audience. So please, all the attendees in this webinar, you are free to ask Josep, okay, about potential questions, okay, that you may raise and you may find during the presentation. So it's up to you. I will start, just to bring the eyes, okay, with just one question. Well, Josep, you have presented that TMB is managing or is working with electric buses, hydrogen buses, and GNC buses. Which is, or what are the criteria in order to deploy one specific powertrain in a particular bus route? That is the question. So which are the main factors that determine, okay, that one electric bus is suitable for a particular bus, or you are going to deploy a GNC bus in this route? And the other question is more related to the eUltimate project. Do you find interesting to extend the scope of the decision support toolkit that we are finishing right now in the framework of this project, in order to calculate and analyze the potentialities and the cost, introduction cost of hybrid, hydrogen buses and even in GNC buses in these routes? Because as you know, currently, the decision support system only considers electric buses. So it will be interesting to spread the analysis, the scope, in order to consider hydrogen buses as well. Thank you, Josep.
Well, thank you, Mikel. Well, very interesting questions and very difficult. Well, the first one, I think, when we thought about which kind of routes could be transformed into electric ones, we take into account, we consider the emissions, the emissions map of the city. So we try first to cover the more polluted areas in the city, and that's why, and of course to consider also the ridership of these roads. So we try to design a number of routes that runs through the city center, high capacity routes, busy routes running through the city center, and this way we can cover, we can decarbonize quite large area in the city. And about the support, the support decision tool, of course, I find very interesting to keep on doing research on especially hydrogen buses. All about zero emissions is very attractive and very, let's say, selling, very well selling tool. This way, e-buses and hydrogen buses that offers zero emissions to the city centers, to the areas, the more polluted areas in the city, are strategic in the, nowadays and in the short term.
Thank you, Josep. Is there any question from the audience? We are going to give 1 minute just to, in case there will be one person that is writing down a question. You can also activate your microphone, or you can write down your question in the chat. No? Is there any question? Well, so thank you. I would like to thank Josep for this presentation, interesting presentation, summarizing this strategy of TMB. I would also like to thank people from CWUD, the University of Prague, in preparing all the materials and the preparation of this webinar. Thank you, Jan, for your contribution. And finally, the team of IDIADA and UBC as well, okay, for preparing, okay, the KPIs and summarizing the data collected from telemetric system. Thank you all of you and all the attendees, okay, that you have booked, okay, 1 hour in your agenda, okay, at the end of the year. I know that we are really busy preparing and finishing this EIT urban mobility projects. So thank you for attending this and joining this webinar. Well, in the next months, we are going to celebrate one other webinar, okay, in the Czech Republic, in Prague, sorry, in the Chin. So we are going to work with the University of Prague in order to prepare this last meeting, this last webinar, in which we are going to summarize, okay, the experience, okay, in several cities, okay, over there. So thank you, everyone. And as we will have the decision support toolkit really prepared, we are going to share with you in order to see the potentialities and the capabilities and how we can solve problems and challenges that cities and bus operators are addressing right now. Thank you for your time, and see you soon. Bye-bye.